And the undefeated, undisputed king of beers, Budweiser, proudly present to you our featured bout of the evening. This bout is sanctioned by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulations, Executive Director Tommy B. Smith. This is a 10-round attraction in the super middleweight division, and when the bell rings, the referee in charge of the action will be Robert Rodriguez. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you first, fighting to my right out of the red corner. He's wearing the black trunks with the gold trim and weighed in at 191 pounds. Hailing from Los Mochis, Sinaloa, Mexico, he has a professional record of 21 wins, 7 losses, 20 coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Everardo Armenia. And his opponent fighting directly across from him out of the blue corner. He's wearing the white trunks with the red trim. He weighed in at 184 3/4 pounds. Hailing from Davenport, Iowa, he has an impressive record of 48 wins, just 3 losses, 30 coming by way of knockout. Introducing the former IBF middleweight champion and WBO super middleweight champion, and now is currently ranked #1 in the WBO. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michael Second to Nunn.
Michael Second to Nunn. We take a look at the rules in the state of Texas as governed by their athletic commission. 10-point must system. There is no standing 8 count, 3 knockdown rule in effect. The fighter cannot be saved by the bell except in the final round, and an accidental foul in the first 3 rounds. You have a technical draw. After that, you go to the scorecards. Here's the tail of the tape for our main event. Michael Nunn, 184 pounds. Armenia, 191. Both fighters a little on the heavy side, wouldn't you think?
Up toward the cruiserweight limit. Certainly not the super middleweight or light heavyweight.
And we begin round number 1. It'll be interesting to see what type of ring rust Michael Nunn has, having not fought since December 8th. And Al, when he did fight that fight on December the 8th, I mean, he was at 168 pounds, so he is 16.5 pounds heavier now.
Well, the layoff wreaked havoc with him. Some debate as to how long he actually trained for this. Some say 4 weeks, some say 5. Perhaps it wasn't enough.
2 southpaws. Armenia has 3 first-round knockouts in his career. Nunn has 8.
One of their common opponents is Frank Tate, who, of course, is the man that Michael Nunn took the IBF middleweight title from years ago. Ironically, he's from Houston here, and twice Tate defeated Armenia.
Yeah, Nunn took care of Tate with a 9th-round knockout in Las Vegas in 1988. And Armenia tasting some leather.
Now, this is a heavier, different Michael Nunn. This is a Michael Nunn that wants to mix it up with you. That's not how Michael Nunn got to be famous. It's not how he won titles. He might win this way, but he's taken some punches in the process.
Now, always known for his slick defense. Even more aggressive.
Armenia taking some big shots from Nunn and landing his own as well. Now, make no mistake, Nunn is capable of fighting on the inside and playing a power game. He's done it in the past in his career, but that's not been the thing that people know him for, and certainly it's not his best attribute. Armenia doing a very nice job of using the jab to set things up here.
You mentioned Armenia fought Frank Tate twice. Once in 1993, knocked out in the 9th round, and back in April of this year, he took the fight on 5 days' notice and lost a 10-round decision.
Nunn throwing some nice combinations. Now, of course, the question is, in Nunn's case, can he continue at this pace throughout? Nice combination and a tremendous uppercut.
Armenia rock back here in round 1. As his biggest win was against Mexican champion Enrique Noriega, his toughest fight, but now he's going against a former two-time world champion.
Very impressive body work by Nunn here in round one.
Solid round number one for the former champion, Michael Nunn.
That the Cubs are involved in that because that was Ernie Banks' line. Let's play two.
And they will play two Wednesday night on ESPN, and we're set for round number two. Deuces are wild, Al.
Of the 68 punches between the two boxers, only 18 were jabs, and that's odd in the Michael Nunn fight. How about Armenia with that straight left hand there?
And that's the one place Michael Nunn fans in his corner do not want to see him do. Back straight up just like that, reminiscent of when he was knocked silly, and similar to Mark Breland when he was knocked out. They lean back like that and they get hit with the full extent of a punch.
Well, of course, the match against James Toney, in which Nunn was winning literally every round and was knocked out late in the fight. Ran out of gas in front of his hometowns in Davenport, home fans in Davenport, Iowa, and that was when Michael Nunn's whole career changed.
Yeah, that's when he lost his IBF middleweight title, getting knocked out in the 11th round. He did get the WBA Super Middleweight Championship in 1992 with a win over Victor Cordoba. But then in 1994, lost a split decision to Steve Little for the WBA crown, then took on Frank Lyles for that same WBA crown in December of 94 and lost again. That's when he decided to go back with the Gushin.
There's a nice jab by Nunn. Armenia throwing some real nice right hooks.
His brawling style suits Michael Nunn.
Well, it's not his stock and trade. It's not really what he normally does. He's capable of making it work against the B-type opponents, but against the A players, no. You know, one of the things about Nunn, though, he has always fought tough guys. How about when he won his title? Here were his first defenses. Juan Roldan, Colin Bay, Iran Barkley, Marlon Starling, and Donald Curry. Those are the first 5 guys he defended against. That's pretty good. It's the hand speed of Michael Nunn. That never goes away, does it?
Under a minute to go in round two. Armenia has had his moments.
The only interesting thing is this version of Michael Nunn might be more fun for people to see because, hey, he gets hit.
He got hurt. He's backpedaling. Armenia looking to finish him off. Nunn caught in his own corner. He's got a smirk on his face, and Armenia would like to wipe it off, but now he's clowning, trying to say he wasn't hurt. That's right in Nunn's corner. They cannot be pleased with this.
He got hit with a nice left hand by Armenia, but here's where Nunn is a wily veteran. He is buying himself some time.
End of round two.
What made
Michael Nunn, interesting round two.
It was indeed, and as we take a look at what Nunn was able to do in the beginning of the round, throwing excellent combinations, showing us the hand speed that has always been his trademark, but then ran into some problems with Armenia. Got nailed with a nice straight left hand. Didn't really look as hurt there for a moment, but you know what? He was stunned by that punch and got back against the ropes. Always been good at buying time that way, and he did it there.
We begin round number three. Michael Nunn and Everardo Armenia. And Al, as you pointed out, Nunn at this heavier weight, slugging a little bit more, and he is becoming more entertaining, maybe not by design.
Well, as the numbers will indicate, Michael Nunn landing at 55%, but getting hit a little bit more than he normally would have. And as I say, it's maybe more entertaining for the fans because he's showing a nice offensive arsenal, and of course, by staying in there, these fights are pretty interesting, aren't they?
Was the #1 contender for the WBO. It will become a mandatory of the Nigel Benn fight coming up in a few weeks.
Collins hitting it out. But of course, he would not be the mandatory should he lose here this evening. Holding and hitting by Michael Nunn. Armenia has that. Even Michael Nunn at a higher weight is still a pretty good defensive fighter because he's good at slipping punches.
And Nunn doing a pretty good job of avoiding most of those punches. And you have to wonder, too, Al, about Nunn's conditioning or lack thereof because of the injury, the ailment to the liver, not able to do much. He's fighting this fight because he's just trying to save energy.
Yeah, he is. I don't think we can say that Michael Nunn is in absolute tip-top condition. He's trained certainly for this bout, but maybe not at his peak.
Armenta had 25 days to train for this, and for him, he said that's a lot.
Now, these rounds have belonged to Michael Nunn. He's performed well. He's thrown lots of punches, even though he was stunned.
And he hurts Armenta. And Armenta looking to fire right back.
But I'm going to tell you something. If Armenta can hang in this bout, he could have his moments. And that's because we're not sure about whether Nunn is ready to go 10 tough rounds. We'll find out.
At 184 pounds. Nunn putting his hands together effectively. How many landed? That's another question. Final 10 seconds of round 3. This one is scheduled for 10. Michael Nunn and Everardo Armenta. Pretty entertaining fight from the Summit in Houston on the Deuce. Welcome back to the Summit in Houston. Bob Papa along with Al Bernstein. Round number 4 underway. Michael Nunn and Everardo Armenta. This one is scheduled for 10. Super middleweight is kind of a stretch when Nunn weighed in at 184 and Armenta 191. It is listed as a super middleweight, but Al will take a look at your card for more on the weights in a second.
As we see here, I've got Michael Nunn winning all 3 rounds, although in the second round he was stunned by Armenta. Still, he did so much in that round that he had to win it. Yeah, they are both way over the weight limit, but both are in theory super middleweights.
Nunn will have to shave off some 16 pounds. He's the #1 contender by the WBO, #5 with the WBA, and #5 with the WBC in the super middleweight. We should reiterate to the fans that that is 168 pounds is the highest weight in that weight class.
In round 3, Michael Nunn landing 62% of his punches, 59 of 95, but getting hit 23 times, and that represented a 50% landing percentage by Armenta. That, of course, is much higher than the old Michael Nunn, many more punches the old Michael Nunn would have been hit with.
Be interesting to see how Nunn's stamina holds up if this fight is prolonged. Armenta, even though he's listed as a super middleweight, his last 2 fights have been at 190 pounds.
The difference between Nunn now and in the old days is, here he's throwing lots of combinations. He would have moved away in the old days. Here he stands there. Now he's able to get away with it against Armenta, but we did see him get whacked, and there he gets hit with the left hand. He's in the wheelhouse of punchers when he stands there.
Well, great combination by Nunn there, and that time he hurt Armenta. But as you mentioned, Al, Armenta always seems to have an answer.
Now, Nunn is dominating this round, make no mistake about it. But he's right there where he can be hit, which may not be a problem for him tonight, but could be down the road. A lot of low blows by Michael Nunn. He is throwing a lot of them low. You have to love the combination punching of Michael Nunn, though. It is beautiful when he does it.
Armenta's been able to weather the storm. As I mentioned, Armenta has fought at 190, 192 pounds, so maybe these punches from Nunn at 184 don't have the same sting as they would at a true super middleweight, which is 168.
It's a very good point.
That is the end of round number 4. Great round for Michael Nunn.
Joe Goosen stepping in, who we've talked about. In the last round, we saw the hand speed, the combination punching of Nunn. How about 3 jabs, an uppercut, and a straight left? That's a nice combination, and everything landing. So Armenia dazzled by the hand speed of Nunn.
Desert workout there. You did you well.
I remember, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're catching for sure, but you got nothing left on the punch. Okay. You bet you I'm going to take one nice deep breath in. You can 3 minutes now? Good 3 minutes? Go out there and you can press him now. You can press him now. You hear what I'm saying? Press him smart, but press him. Be calm and cool. Just stay inside your shoulder, all right?
Well, Everardo Armenia has taken some punishment in round number 4 as we start round number 5, Al.
Michael Nunn landing many punches, even though I don't think he was ever close to getting Armenia out, and we'll take a peek and you'll see in the 4th round what a spectacular round by Michael Nunn, landing at 69%. So that is a superb effort.
That's better than the free throw shooting percentage of some of the Rocket players here in the summer.
Sure. Seems like everybody had problems with free throws in the playoffs.
Here's Armenia storming back, but Nunn doing a pretty good job of avoiding a lot of those punches with his shoulders and forearms.
He's a very clever boxer, and even at the age of 33, you see how he turns his head when punches are coming. He's always had an innate ability to do that, even in performances that he's had that haven't been extra special.
Well, he says beside the mandatory that he hopes to get is he doubles and triples with the right hand. Says he would really like a shot at Roy Jones Jr. He'd really have to get in shape for that.
He'd have to be as close to the old Michael Nunn as he could be to perform well in that match. Ironically, his style when he is the old Michael Nunn is about the only kind of style that would trouble Roy Jones Jr. A quick lefty with a lot of hand and foot speed. And of course, he is not quite as quick as he was in the old days.
They can get Roy Jones Jr. to sign with the Rockets, and they can have the fight here and do another day-night doubleheader.
Yeah, we may have seen the last of that. He wouldn't be fighting Eric Lucas.
More good work from Michael Nunn. We're seeing the flashes.
The interesting thing is we're talking about conditioning, but hey, Michael Nunn's throwing over 100 punches every single round. So far, he has done it. And against Scully, when we had him here on ESPN, he threw over 100 punches per round. He was very active in that bout.
If I was Armenia in his corner, I'm surprised that knowing that Nunn is fighting well above the weight he's accustomed to, they really haven't had him sustain any kind of body attack.
No, it's a very good point, Bob. And Armenia has mostly been a headhunter. In fact, Nunn, by the way, threw 108 punches per round versus Scully. He landed only 29%, but he was very active. He's certainly landing better than 29% tonight.
Good uppercuts from Nunn. He is digging the body, as his corner has asked, especially when they get in tight. He's been hooking to the body. There's some body shots. Another good round from Michael Nunn. This one's scheduled for 10. Nunn, very impressive through the midway point of this 10-round bout. The New England Revolution, led by World Cup star Alexei Lalas, on the deuce on Thursday. We begin round number 6, Al.
And now Michael Nunn, of course, wants to land lots of jabs. Boy, has he ever. 111 landed out of 190 thrown. He is landing 58% of his jabs. Now that is when Michael Nunn is effective. The right hook by Armenia. He has not been able to get that punch in since the second round when he used it to set up a left hand that stunned Nunn. Armenia just has not done much offensively. This would be a good time to start, wouldn't it?
No body attack at all from Armenia. If you're just tuning in, earlier in the night, James Page scored a third-round TKO of Rocky Balboa in what had the makings of a fantastic brawl, but Balboa suffered a cut on the right eyebrow from a couple of good left hooks from James Page. And now Michael Nunn right now dominating Everardo Armenta.
Michael has had his way using the jab to set everything up, and that's a key element. He has not abandoned that. And the uppercut, he's always had a good uppercut, and his right uppercut in this bout has looked as good as I've ever seen it. Armenta throwing the straight left hand and landing it, but not unable to, oh, there it is again. I was going to say, it's a good punch from him if he throws it. That one landed flush. See if it had any impact on Nunn. See if he comes back to it.
Nunn puts his hands back together. Armenta has 20 knockouts in his 28 pro fights, but most of those coming against inferior competition.
You know, Nunn is hammering Armenta, and you might think I'm a nut for saying this. I still think Armenta has one more rally left in him, and I think it may come off one of those straight left hands that he lands as a counterpunch to Nunn. See, he just missed that one. Nunn's dropping his right hand a lot to throw those hooks and those uppercuts. That one just missed by Armenta, but he's going to get one of those lefts in yet. We'll see if it has an impact. Nunn's hands are so low, Armenta almost can't miss him with the left.
Nunn continues to throw his combinations.
I mean, Nunn has just dominated this round. But we're in the sixth, and I got to tell you, Nunn already looks a little tired to me. Despite all the punches he's throwing, his hands are getting low in between those punches.
Final seconds of round 6, scheduled for 10. Michael Nunn pitching a shutout. Michael Nunn receiving instruction from his corner trainer, Joe Goosen.
All right. Jab's working good. You can pressure this guy all along if you want, really. He's a lot better coming forward than going backwards. When he's going backwards, you don't do nothing. He comes out with an occasional counter punch. Back him up. Keep beating him.
Well, we hope you heard that at home, the words of Joe Goosen. We start round number 7. Sure, the advice was sound.
I'm positive. Joe Goosen, of course, with Nunn during the heyday, who has been back with him now for 5 bouts. They have had a very special relationship, interrupted by that period when Nunn was not with them.
Nunn did say that immaturity and foolishness on his part when they did part company.
They had it working, that's for sure. He was the first $1 million middleweight for a while after Sugar Ray Leonard, and he was doing extremely well. Now, Nunn is laying in there. Armenta now getting a little more active offensively, and Nunn throwing fewer punches. How much did that big round 6 take out of Nunn?
Yeah, they were talking about Michael Nunn pound for pound, one of the best in the world.
He used to never lose a round practically in a fight. I mean, he was totally dominant. He was the Roy Jones Jr. of his day, believe me. Nunn landed 73 of 110 punches in round 6. He's had some spectacular rounds. But here's our question, and there's the right hand to the body by Armenta. Here's our only question in this bout, and it's the only one remaining. Will Nunn get tired? If he doesn't get tired, he wins it in a huge way. A lot of low blows by Nunn. I mean, those are blatantly low. You got to take a point away.
Second warning by referee Robert Gonzalez.
You can't keep throwing punches that low. That's wrong.
But if the referee doesn't come in to stop it,
then it's right.
Right.
I mean, he must have thrown 7 or 8 way below the belt line. There's a nice uppercut by Armenta.
Just curious why Armenta never used more of a body attack.
You made a very good point. There's another right hand on the thigh. Here comes Armenta back now.
Most of those punches by Nunn missed.
Nunn is having another good round here in the 7th, though he was less active in the beginning. And if Armenta is going to make any hay out of him, if in fact Nunn is tired, he's going to have to start throwing punches. Armenta has been very inactive. Now, there's Armenta with a right downstairs.
And he eats a combination.
Boy, nice combinations by Michael Nunn. He has been very consistent in this bout. We say he may be getting tired, but apparently he's not, because he keeps throwing lots of punches in this fight.
Final seconds of round 7. It's been all Michael Nunn. This one's scheduled for 10. Nunn and Armenta on the deuce. We start round number 8. Bob Papa along with Al Bernstein from the Summit in Houston on the deuce. Michael Nunn and Everardo Armenta. And Al, I would assume you have Nunn comfortably ahead.
I have been pitching a shutout. I have not given one round to Armenta yet.
Nunn?
Nunn. How about that? What a play on words.
Very relaxed corner of Nunn in between rounds 7 and 8.
You know, the interesting thing about Michael Nunn is, though he has looked at moments like he's taken portions of rounds off, give him lots of credit. He has only taken portions of round off. He has never had a whole round where he wasn't active enough to win it by a big margin. His numbers are staggering. He has thrown 638 punches and landed a total of 398 for 62%. Meanwhile, Armenta has landed 155 punches out of 373. Nunn is headed toward a 1,000-punch fight and headed toward landing well over 50%. That is good.
Nunn now clowning around. Got rocked a few times, but nothing serious. There have been no knockdowns.
He has landed some very big punches, Armenta. Now, Michael Nunn is not a huge puncher. He's had knockouts in his day, but usually they come from accumulation of blows. And as he's gone up in weight, he has been even less of a knockout puncher.
He has one 8th round knockout in his career on the right side of Armenta's face, telling the tale of this fight. Pretty swollen. Good combination. Nunn's corner, imploring with him to put those hands together.
I think for the first time, Armenta looks hurt.
Yeah, he's down. You mentioned the accumulation, Al. Armenta sneering at some of the fans who are harassing him. Oh, and the referee stops it. Robert Gonzalez stops the fight. You know, I kind of get the feeling Armenta wanted it then.
He didn't beat the count. Armenta kind of stayed down. And Michael Nunn able to get the knockout. Well, you know, we could talk about the weight. We can talk about Michael Nunn. Maybe he's in shape, maybe he isn't. From wire to wire, as you look at Michael Nunn, he didn't do much wrong in this bout. And I'm not saying that Armenta is the top super middleweight in the world, but
He's not even a super middleweight.
No, he's not.
At 191.
But he used to be a super middleweight. In the old days, he was. But he is a boxer that has some skills.
Well, Michael Nunn knocks out Everardo Armenta in round number 8. And he did it in very good style. You mentioned at that extra weight, 184 pounds, 16 pounds heavier than the super middleweight allotment. And he stops Everardo Armenta. And for the official time of the stoppage, here's our ring announcer, Thomas Schreiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the official time of 2 minutes, 27 seconds of round number 8. Referee Robert Gonzalez reaches the count of 10 with your winner by way of knockout, Michael second to Nunn.
So Michael Nunn, with a whole lot of punches, puts away Everardo Armenta in round number 8. We will hear from the former 2-time world champion after this timeout. Welcome back to the Summit in Houston, Texas. The first boxing card here at the Summit since 1993. Home of the former NBA champion Rockets, and also the home tonight of a former two-time world champion Michael Nunn. He stops Everardo Armenia in round number 8, and he's standing by with Al. Al?
Well, thank you. That would be Joe Goosen stepping through, making a guest appearance. You know what? This does feel a little like the old days. We did this about 10 years ago. We used to have this scene repeated all the time in the ring.
Yes, we did. It became so natural 10 years ago. We want to bring those memories back, Al.
Well, you perform. I'll tell you what. We talked about the fact that your weight was up a little bit, up considerably. But I'll tell you what. No matter what, you threw over 100 punches around and landed well over 60%.
Well, that's a lot of punches. I didn't realize I threw that many. I mean, you got guys fighting in world championship fights only throwing 40%. So it just goes to show when Michael don't get his form back, he's going to be ready to tackle the biggest guys out there. That's super middleweight and light heavy. That goes for anybody.
All right, let's take a look at the ending of the fight, Michael, where you were still, in fact, throwing, not just throwing punches, but lots of combinations.
Well, you know, Joe just wanted me to work the kid. He told me the first round, because I hadn't boxed in the last couple of days. He said, Mike, just take your time, go out there, feel him, touch him, and, you know, get your shots off and don't look for no knockout early. He's a tough guy. He's durable. He just went 10 tough, hard rounds with Frank Tate, which was a former champion. So, you know, the guy was a tough competitor. I just want to take my time and do it right.
All right, we got just a few more seconds left. You are the mandatory now for the winner of the Ben Collins fight, and would that be your next stop?
Well, I think so. You know, Dan Goosen, he's my promoter with Top Rank, so you got to talk to him and see what's happening. But he told me, so his word is bond. So I just want to go home, take a few days off, and get back into it. And, you know, watch Nigel and Steven, the best man, win. I'll be more than happy to challenge him.
All right, you can lose that 16 quickly, right?
I can definitely lose it. But I was going to come in this fight like a 178. Dan called me and told me the guy's going to be a little bit heavy. So he told me to come in about 83, 84. So my weight was down, so there ain't no excuse.
All right, Michael, congratulations. Let's send things back to ringside and Bob Papa.
Michael Nunn threw 693 punches. He connected on 63%, 66% of his power punches. He was very impressive tonight in stopping Everardo Armenia in round number 8. We're going to take a time out. When we come back, more boxing action from Houston on The Deuce.